Do you really know what makes a golf ball fly? My name's Ken Martin. I'm a PGA member and golf program instructor here at Keiser University College of Golf. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking below. So, concepts about what makes a golf ball fly is one of the strongest determining factors in swing shape. We do things because of what we think we have to do, and that's based on a concept, and in this case, the concept of how a golf club works to make a golf ball either roll or fly. So I want to show you that all golf balls, because they're round, have an equator. And this label actually indicates the equator. If I want this golf ball to roll, it makes sense that I would contact it on the equator or above the equator, and that will automatically create resistance against the ground, and this ball will roll. Hence, when we're putting, we use a golf club that has very little loft, and that is a putter. Now, putters have a very minimal amount of loft. Typically, they have about 3 degrees of loft, which is not very much. That's because this ball actually has some weight, and the ball actually sits down in the grass, even on a putting green that's mowed very closely. So what we need is a little bit of loft, so we hit just barely below that equator so that this ball actually launches a little bit up in the air, but not with a lot of backspin. And so putters are designed with enough loft to get them out of that depression that the ball is resting in, and then they'll start to tumble. So, but for all intents and purposes, we can think of the fact that a ball rolls because you contact it on or above the equator, and that automatically gives the golf ball topspin. If you want the ball to fly, the problem is it's on the ground. If it's on the ground and you want it to fly, you can't swing up at it. That's what we're used to doing in every other sport or stick and ball game. Tennis, baseball, if we want to hit it high, we swing the tool up at it. But when the ball's on the ground, the ground's in the way. And all we would end up doing is running into the ground before we made contact. So the Scots were very smart in developing golf clubs that had loft. And the point of loft is to make certain that we can still, in order to get a ball up in the air, we have to get below the equator. So in order to do that and hit down at it, we have to have a golf club that actually has loft on it. So what happens is, with an iron, when the golf ball is down on the ground, we can actually make a descending angle of approach, and you can see that the contact point is below the equator. It's not way below the equator, it's not way down here, but it's below the equator. The farther below the equator it is, the more loft the golf club has, the higher the golf ball will fly. But the idea is, in order to make certain that it does fly, is that we have the intent of making a descending angle of approach so that the ball is contacted before the ground. The ball will then compress below that equator. It'll launch off the face with backspin, and the club will continue on its descent, and the divot will always be on the target side of the golf ball. And so once again, if you want the ball to fly, compress it below the equator by making a descending angle of approach. If you want the ball to roll, then use something very flat like a putter and contact it on the equator.